Hello, I'd like to welcome everybody to CKJ Crypto News. Crypto Pioneers, today we have a very, 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 very special treat. We have Susan from Esoteric Trading Solutions. Like I told everybody, she will be back for part 2, and I promise you that this is going to be a wonderful experience for us all, that's for sure. Last time she was here, I actually learned so much. It was amazing, some of the stuff I learned. Like I said, Sue from Esoteric Trading Solutions video and evaluation was featured in Global Coin Report, and the crypto world and the Ripple world has embraced Susan wholeheartedly. I'd like to welcome you to the show, Susan.
Thank you, Jason. That's lovely. I didn't know you had a lovely dimple there. I love dimples.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, actually, me and Susan have actually been talking for about an hour before the video. I'm telling you, Susan is an amazing person. She's so intelligent. Like, I cannot thank you enough for actually coming on to CKJ Crypto News. Like, I really
My pleasure. My pleasure, Joseph. You're a lovely guy. My pleasure. Well, I actually enjoy talking to you, man. So
yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too. Like, it's a huge opportunity. So basically, you know, from part 1 we left off where we had like basically a few questions, you know, introducing everybody to, you know, your background in finance, and, you know, basically talked a lot about Ripple because we're huge Ripple fans. We believe in the technology. We know it's going to replace it. You know, like you said,
I love Ripple.
yeah. Actually, I seen your video. You have a video. I love Ripple.
9 months ago, I put a video out saying, "Ripple, you're going to make me a fortune," and that's when the cryptocurrency Ripple was basically 18 cents. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
So I love Ripple.
Yeah, I seen that video. Actually, I got really lucky too. I found Ripple around 28 cents. And maybe as soon as I read the first paragraph, I was like, hold on. Like, you could just tell there was something there. Like, your intuition tells you. You can feel it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And just the quality of just everything they do. I mean, everything they do, they're absolute professionals, no matter what they do. They just know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And even beyond intuition, I mean, the facts. Like, the facts back it up. The team backs it up. Like,
everything they do. I mean, even, you know, the marketing, you know, the client base, the prospects that they're going out and seeing. Just everything is done so strategically and just so professionally. I mean, these guys seriously know what they're doing. And they've got the best people. You know, it's just absolute
about yourself for a second. Professional,
me?
So much knowledge and know what you're doing.
No. Oh, dear.
Well, last time I made the video, I pretty much, you know, I reached out to the Ripple Crypto, the CKJ Alliance. I reached out to them, and I told some people to put some questions down. And, you know, I got a question. Oh, for one thing, I wanted to tell you really quick. Crypto Trucker says he wants to marry Susan.
Crypto Trucker, sorry. That's such a funny name, Crypto Trucker. Is he really a truckie or what?
Yeah, he's really a trucker too. Actually, I seen on his,
that's hilarious.
He shows a picture of him in the truck, and he wears a headphone set like my I actually have an older brother, Tony, who drives a truck. And
that's lovely.
Yeah, so that's why.
Oh, thank you. Please tell Crypto Trucker that's really nice and very lovely. That's quite funny.
And we got another CKJ Alliance member, Eve. And he's been very supportive of my channel since the beginning. He always sends me links and everything. His question is, will there be enough XRP in the future when all banks and financial institutions start using XRP?
And, you know, I think that's an excellent question, actually, Joseph, to be honest, because Brad Garlinghouse, obviously the CEO of Ripple, was only talking about a $24 trillion problem. But if you look at the whole banking system and the central banking system, the whole global banking system, including the stock market, including cash and coins, including the central bank, that whole market is about 181 trillion.
Whoa.
Yes, 181 trillion we're talking.
Whoa.
So if we talk about, you know, cash and coins, you know, it's about 31 trillion. If we talk about central banks around the world, central banks, not even investment banks or Wells Fargo or whatever, we're talking about 13 trillion. If we talk about the banking system per se, you know, and money being held in bank accounts and, short-term government securities, we're looking at about 81 trillion.
Wow.
So, the figures can range from anything from, and even CNBC the other day was talking about Ripple, and they pulled out a figure of 155 trillion.
Wow.
So the overall figure, if you look at the IMF figures, the International Monetary Fund figures, the overall figures are about 181 trillion.
Wow.
And 66 trillion of that money also is in the stock market. So if people started getting out of some of the stocks and started investing in cryptocurrency, you might, 100 billion that Ripple has, and obviously the 55 billions in escrow, and they've got about 39 billion circulating. Honestly, I don't believe, it's a very good question from your viewer. I don't believe that's going to be anywhere near enough. And also, don't forget, Ripple does have burn. Okay, notwithstanding that burn is small at the moment, but as the currency turns over and turns over and turns over for every transaction that it does, that burn is going to escalate, and the percentage of that burn is going to get higher because the percentage of Ripple outstanding is getting lower.
Okay.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand.
So what I mean by that is you're burning the currency, XRP. So every time you burn, you're losing a little bit of Ripple, a little bit, but the more it's turning over, the more you're burning.
Wow.
And so the supply is actually becoming less.
Okay.
So the percentage of burning is actually getting higher. Also, what's interesting about the banks, and, we're not just talking banks when we talk about Ripple's XRP, I should say. XRP, I've got to make sure I distinguish between Ripple and XRP. When we talk about XRP, XRP is for everyone. There's a whole lot of people saying out there that XRP is for the banks and no one else. It's not true. XRP is for the world.
Exactly.
It's for corporates. It's for, me sending money to my mother, XRP sending something to my friend. It's for anyone, whether you work in an export company, whether you work in an import company, it's for everyone. It will be the global coin or crypto of choice. I've always said that.
Wow.
Because no one has the technology those guys do. No one.
You heard it here.
Now, with banks, for example, or with fund managers, again, wholesale fund managers, professional fund managers that manage your super, that sit in the equity market or the bond market. Now, the equity market is a $66 trillion market.
Wow.
The bond market, the American bond market, the Japanese bond market, the Italian bond market are actually over 80 trillion.
Wow.
So we're talking a huge amount of money here. Now, fund managers, big banks like Wells Fargo or big, Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, whoever it might be, or Goldman Sachs, they'll actually have Ripple, in their portfolios where they sit on it, because they want liquidity, or a fund manager will do the same thing that has a hedge fund. They'll sit on Ripple and they'll actually take Ripple out of circulation.
Wow.
So what that means, and coming back to your client's question, which is a very good one, what that means is the circulation that you see today, we know it's 39 billion, but they've got 55 billion in, escrow.
Uh-huh.
That circulation could even become less than that.
Wow.
And it's no different to stocks on the exchange, equity on the exchange, where the equity sits in a portfolio manager for an equity portfolio manager, and that equity never sees the light of day because it becomes their core equity, becomes their core investment in their portfolio, and they don't actually ever get rid of, say, Google, or they never get rid of Apple in their core portfolio, like a Fidelity that manages $17 trillion worth. Okay. So they could sit on Google forever and you never see that come back into the market. And so therefore, the circulating shares or the circulating coin don't come back into the market. Now that's what will eventually happen with XRP.
Wow.
And with that happening, the price, of course, will go up because the circulating issue is going to be a lot less than 39 billion.
Supply and demand issue. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's amazing, actually, that you said that, because believe it or not, and that's why I love speaking to you, because you actually bring the scenario so much clearer. Basically, what I've been saying since the beginning, since January, that people have been, oh, there's 100 billion and there's 39 billion, and they complain about the supply. But I once said that I don't believe for the job that they're tackling that that's going to be enough. So
it's nothing. You know, they're talking about, you know, Brad Garlinghouse is talking about 24 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the reality is, you know, there's money out there in the world, the total world, of something like about 200 trillion.
Wow.
You know, 10 times more than what he's saying, right? And the world has a global settlement problem. Yeah. You know, that Ripple is the only one that can do instantly. Mm-hmm. Now, people bang on about Ripple being centralized. Who cares? Who gives a rat's ass? So what, you know, I don't believe the technology is not centralized. Mm. You know, maybe the company is. But honestly, I've got news for the fudders. I don't give a shit whether the technology is centralised or not. Seriously.
I understand.
Because the reality is it's technology that no one has.
Exactly.
No one can settle that amount of transactions within seconds. No one can settle that amount of transactions from the US to the back blocks of Africa or somewhere else. No one has the capability to do that.
Wow.
Now, every bank I've worked in for the last 30 years, or fund manager, every bank that I know has been spending millions and billions on technology to come up with this solution.
Wow.
And no one has done it except Ripple.
Exactly.
And Ripple is there at the forefront.
Exactly.
You know, they are the ones that did it first, and they are way ahead of anyone, way ahead of anyone. Seriously, they're running while everyone else is still, you know, not even getting their blockchain up and ready like EOS, which is travelling at, I've got to say this, I can't help myself. EOS is supposed to be, you know, EOS is taking $4 billion out of the market. It's had a 12-month ICO. I've never heard of such crap in my whole life. It's basically, it's had a 12-month ICO. It's taken $4 billion out of the crypto market. This is how clever the fudders are out there. It's supposed to go on its own blockchain this week, but it's still sitting on Ethereum because its own blockchain isn't ready. Wow. And yet the coin is still travelling at $13 a coin.
Wow.
And it has no revenue and no clients. Make sense of that.
Exactly.
And yet here we are sitting in a situation and it can't even get its own blockchain ready. And now if you look at EOS, and I'll say it again, with any crypto you can come up with, EOS has one big holder that holds something like about 70% of those coins.
Wow.
Now, if that's not centralised, I don't know what is. Yep. But anyway, this is how silly the crypto market is. You know, they basically don't put value on a coin that has the goods.
Exactly.
And they put value on a coin that doesn't have the goods, and they can't even get their own blockchain working. You know, it doesn't make sense to me, and they're using someone else's blockchain, Ethereum.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just stupidity, and it's bunkum. And I've been selling EOS, and I've been making money out of EOS, and I've been buying Ripple. And Ripple, you know, to me, I will be buying Ripple, you know, up until $30. It's wow. Cheap. It's cheap.
Exactly.
You know, again, and I'll say this again, XRP, if Ripple decided to list on the stock exchange, on the NASDAQ, as a tech stock, Ripple is another Google, okay, the company.
Wow. And
they would not list on the NASDAQ as a tech stock for 65 US cents.
Wow.
They go on the NASDAQ as an initial public offering, 700 US easy, and that thing would trade to 1,200 US just like that.
Wow.
It would be one of the most outstanding IT stocks in the world, number one, because of the technology they have that no one else has.
Whew.
And the cryptocurrency price will not stay here.
Just listening to you, I mean,
madness.
You're making me smile more and more because like I'm heavily invested in Ripple, and like I can just, you know, I just picture my investment just making, you know, I'm just so happy to be invested in Ripple. That actually really reminds me that, you know, basically one thing I said about last video and I said to on my show is basically after dealing with you actually made me really take a serious look at most of my investments. As far as a lot of companies I invested in were still in roadmap phase, and they basically didn't have a product. Listen to your videos. I kind of said this, but I'll elaborate. It's basically Ripple has a product that is ready, and they're already marketing that product and actually are selling that product to banks. They're creating revenue.
And getting revenue. But not only that, Joseph, and you're absolutely right what you're saying. Think about in the last week how many hacks there's been. I can name the hacks. Ethereum Classic got hacked. Verge has been hacked 3 times. Lisk tonight has just been hacked. The list goes on. Bitcoin Gold got hacked. They got away with $18.9 million. Zen Cash got hacked yesterday.
Wow.
They got away with something. The amount of cryptocurrencies that have been hacked with a 51% malicious attack, which means a hacker, a very smart person, has actually got control of the network.
Wow.
and sent themselves coins.
Exactly.
Every day now, there's a cryptocurrency out there that has been hacked. Every day. Right? And these cryptocurrencies are trading at some astronomical level. Every day there is a new hack, right? Every day.
Too, because actually Verge, I think, I'm not invested in Verge, but Verge marketed themselves as a superior privacy coin.
And it's great security. And so did Zen Cash. Zen Cash a month ago said, we're fine. We've got fantastic, security. We've got plenty of nodes. No one can hack us. Well, yesterday, Zen Cash got hacked.
Wow.
List got hacked tonight.
Wow.
Every day you find... The next one that'll get hacked will be Neo. Because Neo only have 9 nodes. It's not decentralized. I only have 9 nodes. Wow. Which basically means, in computer language, they have 9 computer sites around the world. 9.
Wow.
6 to 9. And the system's been down. So someone that really knows their stuff can go into Neo and get 51% of the processing power of Neo.
Wow.
And send coins to themselves.
Wow.
So Neo will be the next one to be hacked. I can tell you right now. IOTA will be the next one as well, because the administrator has to go into IOTA, the administrator of IOTA, because they don't have enough transactions to verify those transactions, Okay. When you go and do something with IOTA, you have to verify 2 of their transactions, because that's why it's free. But it's not free. It's not free because you're using your time and stuffing around with their so-called technology that's supposed to be decentralized.
Exactly.
But it ain't decentralized, right? Because they've got an administrator. I love doing this. This looks great on the screen. Because they've got an administrator that's got to push the transaction through.
Exactly.
IOTA will be the next one to be scammed as well as Neo.
Wow.
I'll lay money on it, babe. I'll lay money on it.
That's amazing. It's like basically, with the crypto market being unregulated, basically a lot of these companies are promising things that they can't deliver, and people are supporting them just behind promises. But like you said, Ripple, that actually has technology ready to go.
I'm selling this shit out of Neo. Where is it at the moment? It's $53. I'm selling it. I'm selling EOS. I'm selling Neo. They're just garbology.
Wow.
Garbage.
Yeah, I got rid of about 4 different cryptos. I got rid of about 4 of them myself, and I just put them right in Ripple. And actually, I'm just very excited about Ripple, that's for sure.
Neo, check out Neo. Neo, in October and November of last year, their whole system was down for 48 days.
Wow.
3 days. The system did not work, didn't transact. And yet, the cryptocurrency is hanging around $54 US. $54. And the cryptocurrency has 6 to 9 nodes, and you go and ask the founder about Neo's technology, and the guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like, really. But how dumb is this market? Exactly. I'm sorry, but
basically a lot of
they're really dumb.
Companies pretty much just jumped on the wave of, the cryptocurrency wave, and they don't actually have a real product to bring into the market. And that's a shame that people really get and that's actually, believe it or not, one of the main reasons I started this channel. And one of my famous sayings on CKJ Crypto News is, I like to research. because I really felt that somebody needs to bring a little bit more honesty to the crypto YouTube world. It just really bothers me to see somebody get scammed or taken advantage of. Like, that's like
Oh yeah, I agree, man. It's me too. I hate that shit. You know, I really don't like it. You know, but you know, in saying that, I love it because it does present opportunities, amazing opportunities. You know, I've worked in markets, and markets are not always right, and clearly this market is not correct.
Okay.
So it will provide amazing opportunities for the smart people, where the smart money goes, right?
Exactly.
And when the professional person gets in, they'll look at everything the way I'm looking at it and go, wow, we are just going to slam this thing and we're going to hoover up this one. Exactly. And that's what they do. That's what they'll do.
And that's really the importance of information, because I'm telling you, like, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm telling you, since I did our last video, I really took a serious look at my investments, and I actually lacked accurate information. And that's why, like, I'm so happy to have you here on the show, because, you know, with your information and your experience, and that's what the crypto Ripple world missed, and that's what actually everybody's been saying in the comments. It's so good to have somebody that's actually coming in with so much knowledge of banks and of SWIFT, and that's why basically your evaluation is actually taken extremely serious, and that's why it was actually featured in Global Coin Report too, just because, and I'll say this, you are the first person on YouTube to have pretty much a view of dealing with SWIFT, and basically with your financial background to do one hell of a valuation. And that's what everybody wants to hear a little bit more about. It's really popular.
Yeah, definitely.
The world is
happy to talk about it.
Yeah, what's XRP going to be? Everybody likes price predictions, but nobody.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Nobody predicts the price better than Sue from Esoteric Trading Solutions.
Well, you know, a matter of fact, I think that the price is dramatically underpriced, even to where I, you know, put a very rough valuation on it.
Okay.
You know, my valuation was very simple, you know, very simple. It's using the discounted cash flow and using, you know, the discounted cash flow model. There's many different ways to do a valuation, you know, different models. You know, you can use the CAPM, you can use the price earnings ratio, whatever. There's lots of different ways. Okay. But most people will do a proper valuation and looking at discounted cash flows of a company or a technology or whatever it might be, which is pretty much looking at the revenue being earned every day or monthly, and the outgoing. So what's coming in and what's going out over a time period. So say the valuation was done in 2 years, which it was. So, you know, every day you're accruing revenue. Every day, you know, there's outgoings, but I've only looked at it as not being too many outgoings, but pretty much accruing revenue every day for the next 2 years, essentially, and then bringing that back to a discounted cash flow. So all that revenue that Ripple's going to earn over a 2-year period, you know, what is it worth in today's value, you know, over a 2-year period? Because you have to look at the time value of money, essentially, and the time value of money has an incredible compounding effect. Okay. Because, you know, every day you're earning interest rate, every day. Now, the thing is with Ripple, and I only used it on a $24 trillion problem, which they say that they're fixing, but it's actually a bigger problem, as I alluded to, because the whole market of cash, you know, and securities and everything else is overall, you know, $180-odd trillion market. Wow. You know, it's massive, okay? Even the central banks hold about 13 trillion. You know, we're talking trillions, not, you know, we're talking massive figures here. Yeah. You know, the equity market is 66 trillion and the bond market is about 80 trillion. Wow. You know, which, you know, bonds, you can't settle bonds instantly. You know, bonds used to be trade today plus 3 days. Now it's trade today plus 2, but you can't settle those instantly either. Yeah. But if, you know, with Ripple, you'll be able to settle everything instantly. Exactly. So the application of Ripple's technology is amazing. So the price of $344, whatever it was US, was basically calculated on 24 trillion monthly cash flows out to 2 years, brought back to net present value,
Okay.
Using the US interest rate curve, the 2-year interest rate curve, using the short-dated interest rate curve plus the swap curve.
Okay.
With a cost of credit, for the corporate credit of being Ripple rather than the government curve. Okay, so you've got to actually use a higher interest rate rather than a lower one, so the discounted cash flows are actually less.
Okay.
So if we assume, and this is where people don't understand, and this is what I'll make really clear.
Okay.
$24 trillion I've used.
Okay.
And I assumed 100 billion. I know, yes, of course I know there's only a circulating amount of 39 billion. But I wanted to make it a very simple valuation, extremely simple so that people can understand. With valuations, you've got to put all sorts of things in. It becomes very complicated, right? Which I would do a much more sophisticated valuation, i.e., what would the burn rate be, for example? What are their prospects? Who else are they going to get? The market's going to be bigger. It's not 24 trillion, it's actually bigger. Okay. I'd be a lot more just defined about it for myself if I was doing it absolutely, because I'd be looking at all sorts of things, what markets are they in? So, for example, they're in the Chinese market. It's a huge market, or if they're in the Indian market, or if they're in the Mexican market is a $35 billion cash remittance market, for example.
Wow.
The Indian market is about 12 billion cash remittance market. All that sort of thing. So you'd have to look at the different areas to where they can make their money. And also with the valuation, excuse me, there's an assumption that they're only selling X-current, not using XVIA or not using XRapid. So they're not even using XRP in my valuation. So the valuation is a very simple valuation, assuming that only 10% of the people they talk to, of the 24 trillion, are going to actually pick up X-current.
Wow.
See? So it's a very minimum conservative valuation.
Yeah, it truly is, and that's why I think everybody's impressed.
Right? So if we say every month Ripple pick up 10% every month, you've got 2.4 trillion a month, right? Rolling over every month for 2 years. Okay? Now, that's 24 time periods. Okay?
Exactly.
So, and the reason why I've said that is because if the banks use X-current, think about it, the banks will save 30 to 40%. Now, Ripple will charge the banks for the use of their technology, and I've assumed the same assumption, 10% cost. Because if you're saving an organisation, and we're not even talking about the use of XRP here, we're just talking about X-current. If you're saving a big organisation, regardless of if it's a bank, I mean, it could be anyone, it could be a huge corporate treasury, it could be, one of your biggest companies over there. What is it? It's not GE. What is it? The Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Could be Amazon.
Conglomerate.
Right, and mind you, there's some talk that Ripple might get Amazon as a client. That wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, I believe they are.
Right? That could be a possibility. Now, if it was someone like Amazon, it could be Amazon. If Amazon is saving, say, 30 to 40% for every transaction they do, and it rolls over every day.
This is
for the next 2 years, we're not just talking about, how can I say, it's a static process.
Exactly.
Where we've got one transaction or we've got 5 transactions on that day. These things keep rolling over and keep rolling over and keep rolling over. So Ripple's going to charge them. And don't forget, Ripple are processing those transactions. The corporate or the bank is saving 30 to 40%. So Ripple, the assumption is Ripple has 10% of that market, which is 2.4 trillion every month. Now, it could be even more than that. All right? That's the assumption, only on X-current.
Wow.
So just very quickly, if you go 2.4 trillion, by 24, I don't have my calculator, whatever it is, and you bring that back to net present value, this is a very simple market valuation, and it doesn't take into account all the other myriad of factors to do a market valuation.
Exactly, simplified.
But it's a very simplified. So if we go 2.4 by 24 periods, which is 24 months, which is a 2-year period, we come up with 57.6 trillion in revenue to Ripple.
Wow.
Right? If you bring that back to discounted cash flow, so in other words, what is 57.6 trillion in 2 years' time worth now, right now, today, because you've got to take in the time value of money and everything, using the interest rate curve with a discounted cash flow model, that will come up with $334 trillion.
Wow, okay, I understand.
And therefore you divide that on 100 billion, you come up with $334 US.
Wow.
Now again, that is an extremely simplified version, and there are a few assumptions in there, but the assumptions notwithstanding are very, very extremely conservative.
Wow.
Right, the assumptions are very conservative. Now, Ripple gets their revenue, and this is what I need people to understand. They don't get X-current for nothing. That's what people need to understand here.
Okay.
If a company or a bank, if Amazon or a big bank that own billions of dollars worth of everything, billions of dollars of money, billions of dollars of property, billions of dollars of this, billions of dollars of that, billions. Yeah. I don't know what your banks are like, but our banks make billions.
Yeah.
If they are saving 30 to 40% on their bottom line, that is going to be worth billions, right?
Very impressive.
Now, Ripple is not going to give away their technology for nothing.
Of course not.
So I've assumed that Ripple is going to take 10% as a cost from the banks for their technology. Now, technology that can do this, I don't know what Ripple charge. I have no idea. But if they get 10% in the market and they take 10% of the savings that these corporates and banks make, which is 30 to 40%, say it's 35%.
Huge savings.
And Ripple say, right, you're making 35% savings out of our technology. We're going to take 10% of that, and it's only going to be X current. Their revenue line is the revenue of 2.4 trillion. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to give the technology away for nothing. And also, they do all the processing of that technology, all the processing of those deals that go through every day, every second.
Wow.
Right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And not only with the cost of the technology, the banks have got to pay for that, but it's the processing of all those deals. They have to pay Ripple for that as well.
Wow.
Right? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, the burn rate goes through, and it burns the coin, and it's constantly being churned over. Exactly. You're constantly using the same coin, constantly, right?
Yeah.
It's being used for 3 seconds, and then it's being used again, burning again, 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Plus,
it's amazing.
Plus, IT contracts, the technology of Ripple would be a long-winded contract. It'd be a contract for 10, 15, 20 years.
Wow.
Could be 30 years.
Wow.
Where a big organisation has to pay a lot of money for that technology because they're saving so much on the other side.
Wow.
If you're saving that much, you're not going to get their technology, let's put it this way, for $500 or $500,000. You see what I'm saying?
That truly inspires the word long-term hold. It will benefit amazing.
And this is where it's so ridiculous. People go to me, but Ripple, the company is different to XRP. yes, Garling has said that XRP can trade on its own. Of course it can.
Yeah.
On the exchange, it can trade on its own. Right? Of course. By itself, if Ripple fell over and burnt down the technology, the coin itself, you and me can buy that coin.
Exactly.
But the technology is absolutely entwined with the coin, because I pick up my phone, and I want to transfer Ripple to yours to someone else.
Okay.
Technology belongs to the company of Ripple, who get paid the revenue.
Okay.
Right? Who get paid the revenue for the technology, which makes them very wealthy.
Wow.
And XRP is an added bit to the technology, which makes it XRapid. If the banks use XRapid, they save another 30%.
Exactly.
So then Ripple goes, now you're using XRapid, it's going to cost you more money. You don't get anything for nothing in this world.
Wow. Okay.
If a bank isn't saving, or a corporate, 60%, Ripple's not going to go, sorry, it's one of my clients, Ripple's not going to go, you now can have everything for only 10% cost. Think about this. You get nothing for nothing. You're not going to get something for nothing.
Exactly. That makes sense.
They're going to be then they're going to be transacting, rather than foreign currency with Xcurrent, they're going to be transacting XRP as well.
Wow.
Right? And, the banks are going to save more money, and it's going to cost the banks more to use XRP and Xcurrent.
Wow.
Because they're saving now 60%.
Wow. Which actually leads to more relationships, because like you said, basically with that bank using the Ripple technology leads to a competitive advantage, which leads to
it's
more
huge.
partnerships and more.
It's huge. It's the difference, it's the difference between a bank today, if they don't use Ripple, it's a difference between a bank today surviving or not surviving.
Wow.
Exactly. Because if you're a bank that's saving 60% and your competitor's not, because they're not using Ripple or XRP, sorry, it's one of my clients sending me stuff.
No problem.
You're using the technology of Ripple, Xcurrent, and then you're using XP, and you're saving 6% as a bank. You've got 60 cents in the dollar more than Bank A. I'm Bank B, and I've got 60 cents in the dollar more than you. You know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to try and get all your clients.
Exactly.
Because I've got 60 cents in my pocket more than you've got.
Wow.
And I know you're charging your clients for the credit card 10%, right? I'm going to go to your clients, advertise everywhere around where your clients are, anywhere in the press, whatever.
Okay.
And I'm going to show them a credit card of 5%.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
What do you think the clients are going to do?
They're going to switch.
I know your Bank A, I know you guys are still using Swift, and you're lending, all your people that want to borrow money through your bank, they're getting shown 5% on a mortgage.
Exactly.
I'm going to start advertising my bank because I'm using XRP and Xcurrent. Now that I'm I'm getting 60 cents in the dollar more back.
Okay.
Now I'm going to put out my mortgage rate at 3%.
Exactly.
So what are all your clients going to do? They're going to refinance their mortgage. They're going to go to your bank and say, I want to get out of my mortgage. I want to refinance through my bank at 3%.
I thought of that, actually. Wow.
Basically, it's strategic. A bank can't afford not to use Ripple because the minute XRP and Ripple, because the minute one bank does it,
okay,
that bank can acquire everyone else's clients.
Wow.
Because they're saving so much money. They're getting 60 cents in the dollar extra back.
More partnerships, which adds more value to.
So it's going to be, when this starts, and it's what David Schwartz said on the cryptocurrency side.
Okay.
When this starts, it'll take one big bank.
Okay.
Scotty, what are you doing? It's one of my clients. It's driving me mad. It'll take one big bank Keith started texting me. It'll be one big bank to do this, to take on Ripple, the whole lot.
Wow.
And all they have to do is start advertising lower rates on the mortgage side and on the credit card side, and there will be an avalanche because every other bank or corporate out there will realise they're in serious trouble.
Exactly.
And this will not be a ripple. This will be the Niagara Falls.
Wow. Niagara Falls. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm telling
this will be the... And you know what? When this thing... Because when this... Everyone's sitting here all lackadaisical, all going, oh, this will never move, they're fudding and whatever. But I tell you something, I've seen markets go parabolic. And parabolic is like that.
Wow.
You know, the thing opens and you blink and the thing will be, before you know it, it'll just go through the roof.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And it sits there for a while. It even did that in the bond market when I was trading in the bond market.
Mm.
And the bond market's supposed to be the most sophisticated market in the world.
Okay.
Had a government curve sitting under a corporate curve, the yield, so let me put it another way. The yield on a government security, like the US Treasury Authority, their yield was higher than, say, Joe Blow's fish and chip shops bond for the same maturity. Exactly. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So, in other words, a 2-year bond, your US Treasury bond, say, was at 6%. Okay. And Joe from the fish shop's 2-year bond was at 4.8%.
Wow.
Right?
I'm with you.
Okay. Now, Joe's fish shop is a lot more riskier than in the US, right? The US corporate, the US Treasury, yeah?
Exactly.
You'd agree with that? In the professional bond market in 99 to 2000, that relationship stood there for 3 months. Now, the bond market is supposed to have the most sophisticated fund managers and traders of all the markets, because they use quant models and everything, right? Okay. But even in professional markets, that relationship sat there for 3 months. Wow. And the real relationship should have been the opposite. Exactly. Joe's fish and chip shop should have had a yield of 6% because it's more riskier. Exactly. And the government bond should have had a yield of 4.8%. Wow. So when people woke up, and God knows why they were sleeping, that relationship completely unwound and went the right way. Exactly. And markets do misprice things. Wow. And things get missed. That's amazing. I'm so impressed. Your knowledge is just, it's mind-blowing. I'm telling you, I've learned so much from you. And this actually brings me to the next question is, I know, you have a client that's trying to get up with you. He must be on the verge of some huge investment. But that actually, I almost feel like I'm a client. I almost feel like, take your time, check it. You're a business person, you're an expert, you're a professional in your field. And it's really late, so he's texting me, and it's late here in Australia. It's 3. What time is it there right now? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Wow. And that's why I said that, I really thank you so much, for bringing your information to the crypto community. They don't realize right now it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, but it's 3 in the morning. But speaking on client, I feel like I'm one of your clients. This brings me to, you do offer a service, and you do have a way where people can become your client. Because I'm pretty sure if somebody wants to get up with you and they need some information, you offer a service as far as somebody becoming a client. How can somebody become your client? Oh, sure, Joseph. I've got my channel's called, my internet site is called, it's called EsotericTradingSolutions.com. Okay. That's my business name, and I've got a subscription page there where you can subscribe for $39.90 a month, or, it's cheaper if you do it, you pay for 3 months or 6 months or 12 months. And what we do is we've got all different channels, and we update all those channels every day on all the main cryptocurrencies that we watch. But also we have education for clients. We, have trading channels. Some people like to trade, cryptocurrencies. I do a lot of trading. I love trading crypto. I love trading foreign currency. I love trading the equity indices. We show people how to set up proper investment portfolios.
Wow.
Even stuff like, some of the exchanges, knowledge people don't have. Like, I'll give you an example. Hubi Exchange, if you try to send Ethereum to Hubi Exchange, they will not receive Ethereum because it's got smart contract.
Okay.
And the only time you'll get that in your portfolio is after 35 or 40 days.
Okay.
Because Ethereum has a smart contract, some exchanges don't accept Ethereum because of its smart contract. Mm-hmm. So it could be something like that, or it could be something like some of my clients might be trading in regional exchanges, and the regional exchanges are ripping them off blind, and they can't take ownership of those coins because they're a shadow market. And what I mean by a shadow market, they're not the real market. They're trading cash for differences rather than the real market. It could be, look, I get all sorts of questions, seriously. Down to how do you work out a nano, down to how do you look at things, how do you assess things. The questions I get heaps of questions. But it's honestly, it's a great service. As a matter of fact, I probably need to put up that service, so if you get in early, because the money it saves you, from losing money,
exactly.
you got to remember 1 in 2 ICOs are scams, man.
Exactly.
People lose their money all the time in ICOs. People lose their money because they don't understand, what the exchange are, or where they should be investing their money or trading their money. Exactly. I always say to people, if a crypto is issued in US dollars,
okay,
go where the volume is, go where the base currency of that crypto is. Open the account in the US where the volume is, and that's the real market. Okay. My clients here that have opened their accounts in, say, Australia or somewhere else, they're getting raped and pillaged. The buy-offer spread, say, for Ripple is 1.5 cents, whereas on Bitfinex, it's not even one of 1,000 cents.
Oh.
Plus they're getting raped and pillaged on the brokerage, plus the credit, using their credit card, plus they can't even take the coins. There are so many pitfalls in this market where people can lose their money.
Wow.
So many. And my service is so cheap for what it is, because you can lose more than $39 a month, in this market if you don't know what you're doing. It's so easy to lose money. There is so much FUD and so much incorrect knowledge out there. It is just, people believe in it. I say to everyone, all my clients, if you don't believe me, go and test the technology. Go and buy that coin or token and try and transfer it somewhere. If you don't believe me, if you believe that IOTA's, a great technology, go and transfer the coin somewhere. Okay. And see what happens. Okay. Try and send it to a deposit, or try and do something with it and see what happens. Wow. If you believe Ethereum's terrific, give it a shot. You don't have to listen to me, but I understand what I'm looking at, and honestly, and I have a lot of experience, and I know what to look for, and you can spend a lot of time, trying to research something and trying to look at stuff, copious amounts of information, on YouTube or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's correct. And there's so many incorrect things out there, and so many things that people are saying that aren't right. And people can lose serious money, serious money, if they believe this stuff.
Yeah, I hate talking figures, but you're exactly right. I mean, to be honest, I'll just say it. I had a few $1,000s invested in cryptos that basically, after talking to you, I realized, and I did a little bit more in-depth research on the project, and I hate to admit this, but I put my money in some of the wrong cryptos. And like I said, I'm so thankful to talk to you, because now I rearranged my portfolio. I increased my position in Ripple for sure, but I decided not to back the companies that don't even have a real working product, or a product that's going to generate money.
Well, it's all hearsay. It's all crap. I mean,
exactly.
If they don't even have a prototype, they've got nothing. I mean, they've got no working paper, they've got no GitHub, they've got nothing. It's just, it's a red flag as far as I'm concerned. You know, these things are not audited. They could say anything, seriously.
So it's $39 a month, and you said it was a 3-month rate and a 6-month rate and a year rate?
Yeah, the 3-month, look, it's really cheap. I mean, and I probably do need to put it up. It's $100 Aussie for 3 months, $170 for 6 months, and $230 for 12 months. But look, there is premium as well. You know, premium rates are about $400 a year. But, you know, for the amount of time I talk to my clients every day, you know, and, you know, help them as much as I can, and they learn all sorts of things, which they need to know because, you know, there's so many minefields in this game of crypto. You know, and I have people, you know, wanting me to answer all these questions, you know, and I get all these questions. But, you know, people ask me, can you look at this? I'm worried I'm losing money, you know, and they're in basically some coin I've never heard of, and yet they won't pay me to look at this analysis properly, and God knows how much money they've got invested. Exactly. I mean, it's just stupid. And then they're running around trying to look at YouTube, trying to find out an answer to stuff. You know, that's crazy. And
it seems like you develop a very,
you know, it's money.
It seems like
well
you develop a really personal relationship with your clients. I see you said it's 3 in the morning, and he's blowing your phone up.
Yeah, he is. You know, you know, because you know, I do, and I generally care about, you know, what my clients are invested in, and you know, what's going on. I mean, a couple of my clients have just joined me, you know, just joined the service, and turns out they're, you know, doing their crypto on shadow exchanges, and they don't even own the coins.
Wow.
Because they're exchanges that are just a replica, but they don't actually own the physical coin. So they can't actually, so basically they can't even take the coin off the exchange because it's not real. And this is in Australia, and they can't sell those coins because they don't actually have ownership of them.
No, when you
and they think they've got ownership.
When you say shadow markets, is that like a middleman, or like is that like a clone of a company, or?
Well, what is basically in this country have things like cash for difference, you know, like CMC. I don't know whether you have that over there, but what it is, it's basically it's a copy of the real market. Like it'll say, like equities, you can buy and sell equities, US equities, right?
Okay.
But it's just a replica of those equities. You don't actually own the equity. You don't own it at all, right?
Okay.
So if I bought the equity here, US, I'm only buying the cash for difference. I'm only buying almost like a futures contract where I don't actually physically own the equity, right? And that's the same with the cryptocurrency here. You're not actually buying the coins where, you know, on the US exchange where you can transfer them to your Ledger Nano S. Here, because it's just a replica, it's like a photocopy of that market.
Okay.
But you don't actually own the coin.
Wow.
You know, and that's just a recipe to lose money. And honestly, it happens in other countries as regional exchanges where they convert, you know, they convert from US dollars to say Hong Kong dollars or whatever it might be. And people are getting absolutely raped and pillaged on the conversion, as well as, you know, on the buy-sell spread for Ripple, which on the real market is only, you know, Ripple will be at 0.6306, 0.6307.
Okay.
But on the replica market, you know, it'll be at 0.64, 0.65. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So they're basically almost using a copy of they're using a copy of the real market, and then they're adding on their own margins.
Exactly.
But the people aren't actually buying the coin. Now, because there's no regulation here for cryptocurrency at the moment or anywhere else, people are getting away with the Wild West, you know, in your country as well as here.
It'll be nobody's fault but your own, without, you know, because people are easily misled, and that's why I was really wanting to talk about the service you provide.
And they should be paying for something and you know, getting help, because seriously, you can lose a shitload more money than $200 or $39. Honestly,
way more. People invest. You know, people invest $200 to $300 to $400 to $500 a week.
Yep, and honestly,
so you said it's the amount of people, a whole year.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. I'm probably gonna have to put it up because
So $200
the amount of
a whole year, and they can pretty much get news and information and research from you.
Everything gets updated. every day. I'm going to put it up for sure, but
that's a no-brainer.
You know, I've had emails from people saying, please answer this, please answer that. I'm not prepared to, because seriously, you know, I charge to answer a question $20, and I answer it in absolute detail. You know, people aren't prepared to pay me that. I've had people, you know, text me or send me emails 5 times. If they're not prepared to pay me $20 to answer a question properly, in Australian dollars, which makes it even cheaper for you guys, well then forget it. They can answer it themselves.
See, I think that's why, because people are really misinformed. I can't remember what this reminds me of, but the thing is,
I've got a position on. I'm looking at something. I'm trading at the same time. Yeah, sorry, man. What did you say?
No, because it's like if somebody asks you a question, they think that, oh, there's like a quick 30-second answer. They don't really.
I answer it properly, and
yeah, there's a lot more.
You know, I'm just not prepared to. You know, people are seeing the emails and stuff on my YouTube, and please answer this and answer that. I'm getting thousands, honestly, thousands.
Okay.
You know, and then they want me to, you know, look at Tron, and then they want me to look at this and that. Honestly, I can't work for free, just like you, Joseph. Seriously. And if they want to listen to all those other dickheads out there that they think know something, go and listen to Data Dash and all those guys. Yeah, he has a groovy, you know, whatever, but the guy doesn't know a lot. You know, go and listen to all the other dickheads. Seriously, I don't care, because, you know, they're telling you the wrong thing. Seriously, and if you really believe them, go and believe them and lose money. It's fine.
No, basically,
but if you want to pay someone that really knows.
When it comes down to it, like I said, with your evaluation, and you know, we just gave people an example of some of the in-depth research that you do, and I'll make this statement, and I'll stand behind it. There's not another YouTuber that has done the evaluation that you have. I mean, they're like just throwing numbers out and they're predicting. Like the way you analyze it, the in-depth research knowledge you have is amazing. That's for sure. And
you know, we don't do a proper valuation, you know, a real detailed, you know, market valuation, you know, of any of these cryptocurrencies. You know, I'd look at things like, you know, how many nodes they have, what's their hash rate count, you know, have they had a malicious attack, you know, what's their burn rate going to be like, you know, what's their burn rate over time, you know, are they going to issue more crypto in the future, i.e., for example, like EOS is going to, you know, what's their, you know, their prospects, what's their revenue projection, all sorts of things.
Exactly.
You know, where's their regulation sitting? Is it in America? Is it in the bloody Bahamas? Where's their corporation sitting? You know, in terms of market valuation, there are so many different factors.
Exactly.
The valuation I did for Ripple was a very simple one, but there are so many different factors in terms of a proper valuation. You know, these idiots that go, you know, Bitcoin's going to be, you know, 50,000. You know, well, where's your substantiation? You know, Data Dash, 50,000. You know, where's that? One of my clients told me about this guy. Where's the substantiation? You know, it just gets them on the, you know, big deal. I can, you know, put my finger up and go like that. But at least I can actually prove where I get the figures from and how I get them.
Yeah, actually, I've seen him. He has nothing compared to you. That's for sure. Yeah, people don't.
And yet that guy's got 300,000 subscribers. He's got someone told me he's got a personal assistant, and also he got paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars in cryptocurrencies because he actually perjured himself and said, you know, this is what someone told me, that you know, that a cryptocurrency was really good when it wasn't. I mean, that's just bribery. And, you know, in any other market, you would be put in jail. Now, I would never do that to anyone.
He came under scrutiny, I think, for...
you know, you could be put in jail, man. Seriously.
I think he got...
This is really big stuff.
Yeah, he came under heat for... He partnered with Substratum, I believe. And so he pretty much started pumping that, and then it came to find out they paid him in 6 Ethereum, and
I tell you what, he's lucky he didn't get put in jail, man. You know, in this country they call it white collar crime, and you know, in this country, and America's the same, you can go to jail longer for white collar crime than you can for killing someone. Now, Martin Schrickle, the guy that took over that company and that was trading shares in in the equity market over there, and wanted to put up the price of drugs that guy's gone to jail for a long time.
Wow.
Because he was doing securities fraud in the equity market, and the guy's only 27 or something.
Wow.
In the crypto market, when it's regulated, you know, if you do that sort of stuff where you're taking bribes from people to say that something's good when it's not, or whether it's not, you're not allowed to do it, you'd go to jail, man. Go to jail for 10,
I never
15
looked at
years.
it like that. You're actually right on the money with that. And that's why I really love talking to you. I mean...
And you know what? I got idiots saying to me, oh, you know, what, it's okay, he took a bribe, that's all right. Get real. Someone takes a bribe to tell people to buy something. He gets paid money, and yet you could listen to him and lose your money?
Exactly.
That's just
wrong.
Completely, that's corruption, man.
Yeah, you
know, and that shows you what sort of guy he is. I would never do that. I'm way too ethical for that and way too honest.
I'm so
I would
glad you
never do
elaborated
that.
a little bit more on. I'm so glad you elaborated on that, and that's what people don't understand. Like with knowledge,
And that's atrocious.
More. Like it's
You know, people in any other market, the bond market, the fixed interest market, the equity market, you go to jail, man.
Exactly.
It is wrong. It's total corruption.
Exactly. Well, Sue, I'd like to really...
You know, you should have 300,000 viewers, not him. Seriously.
Well, trust me, after some of the knowledge that you're giving with the videos...
I'm an Australian, I say it how it is, guys, and I tell you the truth always, and seriously, man. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. There must be a lot of stupid people out there, I have to say, Joseph.
Well, the thing is, I think just like and that's what even Brad Garlinghouse said. Or actually, somebody shared a hell of an interview with me earlier about Brad Garlinghouse. He pretty much said, you know, the crypto market, a lot of people were wooed with, you know, hearing how Bitcoin went from, you know, 2 pizzas, thousands of Bitcoins to worth thousands of dollars. So people were wooed by the money, you know, the gains that they possibly could have made. But I think now the market is actually really starting to smarten up, especially with all these scams left and right and, you know, scams getting exposed. I think the market is starting to get a lot smarter. And another thing they're doing is starting to seek knowledge and wisdom. And I believe that I have found the answer to that, and it's called Esoteric Trading Solutions.
Thank you, darling. And, you know, I feel really sorry for these people that lose their money. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's hard.
You know, people work hard for that money. You know, I mean, we all do, and, you know, I think it's tragic, you know, that people lose their money because they genuinely believe in someone that's telling a lie. It's horrible.
Well, I'm telling you, it's going to be a great honor working with you. Like, I'm so glad to have you as my mentor now. And
Joseph,
we spoke up.
I love you, Joseph.
Oh, I love you too. You're wonderful. I'm so thankful. So it's amazing. This is amazing. You know, and like you also said is you said that, you know, sometime I can maybe when I make the video or edit it or put it up or whatever, you said that I can get the crypto community, put some questions at the bottom.
Yeah, sure. No problem. For you, Joseph, anything.
Oh my heart. You're so wonderful. Yeah, I'll get them some questions on the bottom, and then you know, when we have some
happy to do that for them.
We'll just review the questions, and also you know, I want to share your link for your video. Share your link for is there a link for your Esoteric Trading Solutions subscription, or is there a website or?
Yeah, just a website. It's HTTPS or something.
Yeah.
You know how you got that. And then it's EsotericTradingSolutions.com.au.
All right, well,
you know how you go in there, like, you know the W, you go, wait a sec. Sorry, I've got to look at it, because you know how you...
Oh, no problem.
Oh, you know when it comes up? Oh, here we go. Sorry, man, I just got to... If I go like that. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. I have to look at how... Yeah, it's www.esoterictradingsolutions.com.au.
Oh, okay.
You know how you have your HTTPS then the 2// www.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll make sure I definitely get that, and I'll share the link at the bottom of the page.
And it's got a picture of Melbourne, train station, Flinders Street station. The Melbourne where I come from, which I just love Melbourne.
Oh, believe it or not.
Melbourne's a great...
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, believe it or not, I'd like to give a huge shout out to everybody in Australia. I have a lot of people on my channel from Australia, and I say, I don't know what you guys have in the water out there, but they are...
Oh, what happened, Joseph?
They're breeding geniuses in Australia.
No, man. we just, no.
That's ridiculous. Well, I guess...
Well, I'm good at like you, man.
Yeah,
all the Australians are listening to you. Yeah.
And you were amazing. I'd like to really, really thank you so much for your time.